Hello, everybody. I'm going live on a very unstable internet connection, so I apologize if there are problems. I'm looking like this today. Hello, there we are. It's me and Winnie with you today. I do have a Winnie over there somewhere. It's very hot in Paris, so I'm drinking lots of water and sweating profusely. Well, maybe not yet, not at the moment. It's the evening. How is it where you are? What's the weather like? Is it hot and sunny and sweltery, or is it okay? Maybe you're in the southern hemisphere and it's starting to get a bit chilly at this time of year. Anyway, welcome to the show. This is the Smartphone Photography Show. It doesn't have to be a smartphone, but it's sharing photographs in our group, and there's a weekly theme. So I'll be talking about the weekly theme. I'll be showing you my latest photographs, chatting about those. I'll show you, if there's any questions, then do let me have questions. Say hello if you're watching so that I know that somebody is watching. If you're watching on the replay, hello. And we need a theme. We need a theme for next week. We don't have one. So let's have a look at the, oh, by the way, just a quick word from my sponsor. My sponsor this week is my very own Paris masterclass. So if you're interested in spending some time with me next year, talking all about Paris and talking about all of Paris, everything I know after 30 years here, check out this page, parissetmefree.master. And you'll find that it's a pretty cool thing, and it's starting now. There is material now in the lead up until next year. So that's the sponsor this week. It's only going to be me sponsoring me. So there you go. And the theme this week was don't believe what it says in the top corner there. Animals. That was last week. This week it was bridges. Say hello. Who's saying hello? Somebody's saying hello. Bea is saying hello. And there it is. I know who you are, Béatrice Parent. Madame Parent, how are you this evening? There will be some photographs from you, that's for sure. So what I'm going to do is click on search. Keep my fingers crossed for the internet connection. Search this group for bridge, and if everything goes according to plan, and I get lots. Here is a lady that I took a photograph of in a kind of under a bridge by the looks of it. I'm going to give you some tips tonight. I started thinking of tips on how to take cool pictures of bridges, not pictures of bridges. And I couldn't stop, and I got about 10 of them. And let me just show you immediately. Let's go into how we can make our bridge pictures stand out from the crowd. Well, number one is actually looking up from underneath. As I always say, you want to take a boring touristy shot, see something sort of vaguely in the middle distance, lift your camera to your eye and click. But if you want to do anything except that, which I think you should, try to do anything but that. So, for example, looking up from underneath, I am looking up, or the person who took this photograph is looking up with a subject who isn't looking at us. If the subject was looking at us, it would be a picture of her, not of the bridge. But I wanted, and Dorothy felt a kind of a feeling that maybe the people going away into the distance were people that this lady knew, and she was sad to see them go. So, and you can see the bridge is actually over our heads. So that's an interesting approach. Watch out for bridges, see where you are when you see them, and see what you can do with them. All right, now, results bridge. Okay, yeah, it seems to be what I was looking for. All right, so I'm going to go through in reverse order. This is another one from me. I dragged out some of my old bridge, but you can't do everything. The disused railway, which is which is kind of cool, with people walking underneath the bridge. So another of my tips on how to make your bridge pictures more interesting is have people either going over the bridge or going under the bridge. Yeah, a bridge is for bridging things. A bridge is for going over things, or often you can be on a path that goes under a bridge. So it's just like the path shots. Have someone on the bridge or going under the bridge, and it makes it much more interesting, and it gives a human reason for the bridge. And of course, we want human reasons, don't we? Because we're humans. We're more interested in photographs that are humans than otherwise, with humans in. Now, I'm wondering, these photos here, I'm not quite sure. I'm just going to skip on down here. This is me again, but I'll skip over my photograph. So here's 𝗏𝗏, mother and daughter on the sort of bridge next to my flat. Okay, so it looks like there's a kind of a bridge going across, maybe from the back door of your flat to a kind of off to, seeing as it is France. Okay, so that's nice. There's people on the bridge, that's good. And there's a mother and daughter theme there, which is nice. This is from Dorothy. And the bridge is open, no ants can pass. The mean lady has decided that we should go another way. Now we have to go back or wait till the bridge closes again. So Dorothy is a master or a mistress at seeing bridges or anything in a sort of microscopic universe. And here she saw ants, which were using a closed gate maybe as a bridge. But when she opened it, the mean lady, there was no more bridge. Oh, hello, Nazanin. Nice to have you here. Hope you're doing fine. Not too hot out there in the east of Paris. It's a nice photo. I love the way it's so close, which throws the background out of focus. And those ants look very dangerous, if you ask me. There's something about red. Is it their heads? There's something about red that just screams out, don't mess with me or I'll bite you and it'll hurt. Red is one of those colors with yellow in nature, which means don't mess with me or you'll have a problem. So I love that. And Dorothy again, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, probably in the south somewhere, picture of a drawbridge to see an art exhibition. It became a picture where I'm reflected in a mirror in the room, one with my finger and the third with other visitors. All right, let's see if I can see that. Oh, Nazanin is saying it's very hot there. I haven't been outside today, Nazanin. I've kept the windows closed, and I'm hiding in my little flat here with a fan to keep me cold. Not someone who thinks I'm great, unfortunately. So that's Dorothy's finger down on the left there. So there's a bit of human interaction. Someone said they like the shadows, which is true. I mean, it's true that they said they like them, and it's true that the shadows are nice. Here's another one. Friends going into the building, or maybe unknown people, on a drawbridge. That's pretty cool. And you said something about you reflected in a mirror. Are you reflected there? Can I possibly see a Dorothy there? Right, chugging on. Jean sent tons of bridge photos. Oh my goodness. And here they are. There's so many bridges, she says. She's put these together in a sort of collage. And it's nice to have a theme, isn't it, when you have a collage? 3 of the same, so that everybody knows what your topic is. In the Chicago Botanic Garden. Okay, there's a botanic garden in Britain, in London, Kew Gardens. Not sure if there is one in Paris. There's the Jardin des Plantes, the plant garden. Maybe that's it. And yeah, these are nice sort of landscapey type photographs, aren't there? People walking over every bridge, I notice. Do notice that. Okay, let's carry on. Now this one, Jean said there's a bird in here just for me. So thank you very much, Jean. Well done. Yes, there is a bird there. That looks like a really nice place, unless there's millions of mosquitoes. But she also said she didn't crop it. She might have cropped it, except, I don't know, I like this green. Even if there weren't the flowers, I like the green because it feels in the bottom. It feels like you are across the river. Otherwise, you know, you'd be kind of, it gives a feeling of here and there. And the fact that there's the river in the middle with some nice reflections, might not even have cropped it personally if there hadn't been the flowers. But the fact that there are the flowers, great, you know. And finally, there is the bird. And also, you said that they were your mum's favourites. So, you know, it's your photograph. Beautiful. And well done for the bird. Oh, I've got a few bird photographs. I've got a photograph that is waiting to be published. I was with Leo in Paris, and there was a bird flying next to the Eiffel Tower. So that has to be published soon. Now, Zanine is reminding me that there is the Parc Floral. Oh my God, how can I forget that? In the Bois de Vincennes, the Floral Park of Paris, which has loads of wonderful flowers, animals, and peacocks. All right, zooming down. Jean, I love it when you get some stories with these photographs. So Jean is saying there's an ancient legend tells that evil spirits only move in straight lines and can't follow those who cross this zigzag bridge in the Chicago Botanic Garden, which is... yes, it's almost a zigzag. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think we have something like that in a Paris park, but I didn't realize that it was about evil spirits not being able to cross. You learn something new every day, don't you? All right. One of my photographs. Now, I'm not sure which one it was. I like the foot on the path there. Jean's foot, and it looks like sort of stepping stones. I wonder if there's water flowing around the stepping stones. Yeah, it's very nice, isn't it? And cross, it's interesting because you've got stones there, and I after about half an hour's search, I finally found my photograph, and I don't know if it's that you were reminded of. I'm thinking I have to, I really need to categorize my photographs, but I'm nearly at 2,000 now. Can you imagine 2,000 photographs, categorizing, finding 2 or 3 or 4 keywords for each of those 2,000 photographs? And that's, of course, not all my photographs. And then some sort of system to be able to retrieve them easily. So this is my photograph of a kind of a bridge, sort of a stepping stone bridge with the obligatory human and or animal or bird, and without that it would be okay, but extremely boring. So maybe the dog on its own would have been nicer, but that's what I got. I think I would definitely go for having some sort of human interaction or something on the bridge than nothing, because otherwise it's just another snap. And why did you take it? No, I mean in general, you know, why would you take a photograph which is just, you know, as creative photographers, we need to add something new, something of ours. I mean, you don't have to. You can take snaps, you can take shots to remember where you were. Of course you can. But here, where we're trying to create artistic photographs, we need to add something, or we need to tell a story. And that's what someone walking across a bridge does with that long sausage dog. Dorothy is going nuts on grids. Good for Dorothy. And I like this. She's got, if you look at this diagonal here running down from the top left, you've got a big, is it an aqueduct or is it just a viaduct? Aqueduct carrying water, or is it a viaduct carrying a road or something, or rail? And then it's a bit closer here in the middle. And then it's a bit further away with the palm trees at the bottom right. So there's a nice kind of continuation in the diagonal there. And then various other shots. There's a one with the train on. And I'm a big fan of, if there's a viaduct and it's a train viaduct, I love to get a train going across. And I was looking through my photographs and I realized that there's one bridge I often cross, and I often take a picture of the bridge next to it. And yeah, to be honest, the real light doesn't vary much, but a bit like Monet painting the cathedral at Rouen, he painted it again and again and again throughout his life with different colors, different colored light. And of course he could play with the paints, you know, he could literally change the color if he wanted. So that's what I do. I play with the photograph each time, even though it's normally quite similar, this bridge taken from a bridge I often cross. Looking at them, they're all quite subtly or quite radically different, and it's quite cool. It's nice to see that. So that's something you can do. That's another tip, actually, another of my tips on bridges. Choose a bridge that you like and take pictures of it over the seasons from different angles, or from the same angle, like Monet and me, or from different angles. Another thing you can do is get really up close to a bridge. You could take a detail, like a bit of a rusting metal bolt on the bridge, or the peeling paint, which is what I sometimes do on the Eiffel Tower, which is another thing. You don't have to just take a picture of the bridge as you see it from a distance. You probably need to show that it was a bridge. If you get really close, you wouldn't know if it was a bridge or a piece of machinery. So if you want it to be a bridge, you'd have to show something like a curve of the arch or something. But you could certainly do that. I've often done that with the Eiffel Tower. Okay, so by the way, tell me, if you're watching the replay or you're watching live, how did you find this exercise? Did you find there were lots of interesting bridges near you, or you felt, oh dear, there aren't any interesting bridges? What am I going to do? Did you make a special trip to get bridges that you liked? Or maybe you imagined bridges which weren't really bridges, like Dorothy imagining her aunt's bridge, where they're going across from one bit of the gate to another. I'd love to know. How far did you go? How many extra miles did you travel to get a new original bridge shot? Okay, here's Jean with a pedestrian bridge over a pond. Okay, giving us some background to that. Here's 𝘚𝘢. Okay, so I know that 𝘚𝘢 takes this exercise. Oh, what's Nazanin saying? Too many bridges all around. You've got loads of bridges where you are. Well, I don't know if you've got loads, but in Paris, if you follow the Seine, we're spoilt. Oh, I really wanted to go out today to Paris to get loads of bridges. I'm doing a top 10. I'm resuscitating my Paris top 10s. And one of my favorite top 10s is my top 10 Paris bridges. There's a lot of bridges in Paris. It's quite a long stretch of river going all the way through Paris from one side to the other. And you've got the islands, and the islands have loads of bridges. And of course, there's several bridges going from one bank to the island, and then several more bridges going from the island to the other bank, plus you've got another island. So, and you've got other islands as well, not just the two main ones. So Paris is wonderful, and I didn't get out to do them. I'm really unhappy about that. So this is 𝘚𝘢. I know she tries hard to get. We have the Marne. Sorry, you've got the Marne, Nazanin, not the Seine. Yeah, I don't know the Marne so well. I know it a little bit though. And yeah, so this is 𝘚𝘢𝗛𝗓𝗏, the bridge of 𝘚𝘚𝗛𝗏, shot from the big fancy one, the bridge Alexandre III in Paris. And she likes the matinal agitation. So like all the busy movements along the banks of the Seine in the morning. And I know that sometimes she can cross this bridge to get to work. With there's people running up and down, there's the boats moored, there's some sort of maybe vehicles delivering things. And yeah, Paris is special in the morning. It's not the same as other times of day, especially early in the morning. It's quite strange. Dorothy on bridges. So what is she? Okay, this is Dorothy getting metaphorical. To start with, she has the ants crossing from one thing to another. So there's a kind of an ant bridge. Now she's got a metaphorical bridge, important in the Catholic world, that doesn't exist in the Protestant world. What is this bridge she's talking about? It's a door to a confession box, a bridge you need to pass to be able to do a lot of things. The ladies are also important, as they are the bridge that brings your prayers to God, from a church in Bandon, France. So metaphorical bridges here from Dorothy. I've never been in a confession box. I'm not quite sure what I would say. There'd probably be too much to say. I wouldn't know where to start. So there you go. Metaphorical bridges from Dorothy, and an absolutely literal bridge with people walking across it. Leads us up to the bridge in the midground. So the thing is to start taking shots and see what happens. I've been reading a lot about this at the moment, how to get where you want to go. Well, it's like a GPS. So say you want to take some great bridge pictures, but you don't know where to start. Well, I like the metaphor of the GPS, you know, the sat nav system. You're in your car, you set the, I'm even going to make myself bigger for this profound moment that I'm about to share with you. Dorothy, I'm listening. Hello, Dorothy. We've been talking about your photos. So I like the metaphor of the GPS in the car. The GPS knows exactly how to get where you want to go from where you are. It needs to know where you are. It needs to know where you want to go, and it can help you get there. And if you're sitting in your car, you can set it, you can give it the destination, it knows where you are, turn it on, you're ready to go. Except it can't help you unless you start driving the car. If you sit in the car park, the GPS can say, well, are you going to move or not? You know, do you want to get where you want to go or not? And it's a bit like that with anything and photography. So if you want to take some pictures, you need to get out there and start taking pictures. And then the inspiration will come. So if you're feeling stuck, you're not quite sure what to do. And I know quite a few people have this feeling. I have this feeling sometimes. The answer is to start. It's like exercise. Yesterday, I said to myself, I was walking around my apartment thinking, I need to exercise. I need to exercise. Oh dear, when am I going to start exercising? I really should. And then I realized there's only one way to exercise, and that's to start exercising. It's to start picking up some weights and pushing them up in the air. Until then, you might as well be sitting on a beach in the Bahamas. You're that close to exercise. And as soon as you pick up the weights or start jogging or something, you're exercising. So it's just a case of, until you decide you want to start doing it, don't bother saying that you want to start doing it. Just do it. So photography, get out there and take shots. That's what I'm trying to say. In my clumsy, metaphorical way. Jean has an impulse in Canada, hundreds of miles away. Yeah, they're having lots of problems, I think, is it Canada or New York? I saw some pictures of New York and the sky was orange, and this is not a good thing. It's not a beautiful sunset. It's smoke from fires, forest fires or wildfires. Could be great for amazing photographs, but maybe not so great for your lungs. I like this. I like the way you've played with this. You know, on the face of it, it's quite a simple picture, but you're close to the thing. It goes off into the distance to the right. You've got the edge of the pavement. You've got the yellow line leading us. So and you've done something with the colors that I like. And you've got a little family here doing their thing. Nice. Soft colors, not strong ones. Often I go too strong. All right, here's Dorothy. Nice restaurant, fishing boats, and a famous statue. And see if there's anything else here. I found myself under the bridge. You're not allowed, I was shocked, you're not allowed to bathe on the other side of the bridge. Okay. I like it. I like the kids on the bridge. That's nice. A little school outing. Very sweet. That looks a little bit, yeah, it could be dangerous actually. There's something, I find that slightly intimidating. You know, if I got stuck under the bridge or something, it makes me a little bit nervous. This is from Rob, and he's given us a very atmospheric picture. Farewell, Frodo. Frodo from the Lord of the Rings. And it does look like you would go off into on a big adventure if you cross this bridge, being swallowed up by those trees, and the black and white makes it feel even more mysterious, I think. Thanks for playing, Rob. John Norris says nice, but John Norris didn't contribute a photo. Come on, John Norris, where are you? Again, Dorothy. So some of you were very inspired and some of you weren't inspired by this theme. I like the colors here. Very colorful picture. Boats are wonderful, aren't they, for photographs? You've got all the 4 colors of the main colors, haven't you? You've got green, blue, yellow, and red. The sky is amazing. There's people on the bridge. It's an interesting shot. I've got this kind of semi-theme in my head, as I'm wandering around, it's good to have themes. And one of them is, if I ever see the four colors, the four main colors, I guess you could say, red, green, blue, and yellow together, I get a shot of it. Sometimes you see it on platforms. This would be perfect, wouldn't it? All the four main colors together. For some reason, around it, is it Facebook have made a purple border? I don't know why. Maybe they thought there's not enough purple. What this shot needs is more purple. And 𝗚𝗏 is two pictures of a little bridge in a park near my home. Thanks to the unknown person who came up. I keep telling everybody, try to have a human on anything that is supposed to help humans do something, like cross things. Try to have a human, because otherwise it looks a bit sad. There it is. There's a funky angle, funky human, and a pretty normal bridge. But because of the angle and the human, it looks more interesting. Also, very interesting, I've just noticed here, the little bit of sky in the top left, which would be a hole, has got a tower block in it. The bottom right, which would be a kind of boring sort of gaping void, has got a useful post with also some shadows and a bear written on it. So I've just noticed that, and I think that's great. You filled in, maybe not by accident. I think you probably tried to do this, but it's great that you saw that. Those two things, the tower block in the distance, suggesting that this guy is escaping from city life for a little while, and this post, which is a nice post. It's it's rugged, it's wooden, and it's got a bit of a detail on it there. Is filling in that what would be a very gaping void of nothingness if you didn't have a post. It's the little details that count. Little details take photographs from average to something special. So I'm very, very appreciative of those little details. All right, how are we doing? What time is it? It's 32. So I've been going for half an hour. Maybe I'll show you some photographs, shall I? I'll show you some of my photographs, and then look at some more bridges. So this is my current chapter. So let's have a look at this. And I haven't written the text. I haven't published all of these officially, but you can see them. And I found this a strange chapter. By the way, do say hello. And to keep your creative spirit going, why don't you say which pictures you like? If there's one you like in particular, tell me which one and why you like it. And even, I don't like negativity, but it's not negativity, it's constructively. Everyone has different tastes. If there's a photograph you don't like for some reason, why don't you say what that is? Winnie the Pooh, keeping me hydrated. So the first one was taken a few weeks ago, and it was just sitting, waiting for the opportunity to be published. So there it is, up in the top left. And it doesn't really fit in with the rest of the photographs, but there you go. It was in Paris. It was raining. I kind of like the way it's in the top left of the grid. I kind of like the way that the very top left corner is the spokes of the umbrella, and they kind of spread out towards me, but also to the rest of the photographs. So I think it's quite a good one to have in the top left of the grid. It's also a bit sneaky because it's a bit special. I've played around. What have I done here? Can you see anything strange about it? Well, it would be kind of weird for all those drops you can see. Can you see these drops covering my face and my put? They were drops of water on a window. I was on a tram in the rain and looking through the window of the tram, and there were lots of drops of water on the window. So I thought this would be a great thing to do a double exposure with. So I took a picture focusing on the drops of water on the tram window. And I took a picture of me where there were no drops. I mean, I was getting rained on, but you didn't see any rain. And I put one on top of the other. And I think it's pretty cool. You don't immediately think that it's a double exposure because I've got the umbrella, which says it's raining, and there's a ton of drops, which suggests rain. So your brain is kind of thinking, I don't know how he did it. It's pretty cool. There's something strange about it, but he's in the rain, so okay. But it's, you see, the problem with rain shots and umbrella shots is that often you can't see the rain. If you're trying to photograph something, you photograph an instant, and rain is wonderful. It's such a good thing. I love it when it rains. You've got to be careful not to get your camera wet, but it's such a great opportunity. You know, you've got reflections, everything goes shiny. It's great. But the problem is sometimes rain falls, so you can't see the rain unless it's really heavy. So you need to do some tricks to try and, you know, exaggerate the amount of water that there is. So that's what I did there. The other 8 are a kind of a strange mixture. They all come from the same day. I went to Paris for a French test. Can you believe that? Why did I go to Paris for a French test? I'm glad you asked. I've been here for 30 years. And the last time I went to England in May, I noticed, you know, there's Brexit, where Britain doesn't belong to the European Union anymore. Ever since Brexit, it hasn't been really more difficult to take the train or the plane. I haven't taken the plane, but there are a couple more test checks, and some people ask you questions. They look a bit more closely at my passport, and I thought, you know, fair enough. But you know, I've been here for so long. I wonder if I could become French. So you can actually get British, you can get French nationality and keep your old one. So I'm thinking of doing that. There's a big list of things you have to give them. Plus, you have to answer. You have to have a question, a sort of interrogation on the history of France and stuff, in French, of course. And one thing you need to do is to prove that your French is okay. So I took a test. I had to take a test to get an official level. So I did that, and I'm waiting for the results. So taking this test, I went into one of those little courtyards, and it's amazing. You push a random door and you're in a courtyard, but it's really cool. It's pretty. You've got this graffiti. Well, it's kind of stuck on things. You've got this really beautiful sort of diagonal. It's not diagonal. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'd love to know. It's like a tube window thingy. Really nice. With a little bit of blue sky in the top right there to give a bit of color to go with the red. This is the same courtyard. There were 2 beautiful stone lions, and in the text that I wrote, I looked up what they were, and they were indeed something. The originals are actually protecting the tomb of Pope Clement XIII in St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican in Rome. So there you go. You know, what on earth are the copies doing in this little courtyard here? It's amazing. So so that was cool. Taking a shot of an animal, you have to treat it a bit like a person. Be careful of your angles. Get in close. If you want to make it impressive, get in close. The paws are closer than the head. So if you get in really close, especially when you're close to something, you can really exaggerate it. It's like the problem if you get too close to somebody, their nose is closer to the lens than their ears and their eyes. So they can, if you get too close to somebody with a camera, they end up having a big nose in the photograph. Well, that's to be avoided. But it's great if you want to play with that. So I got really close to his paws, which were sticking out here. His head was behind them, and the paws look enormous. And there's another one that is sleeping. So really nice. And I learned a bit. This is what you get. You wander around taking pictures, and then you publish them. Sometimes there's a history to the things that you take photographs of, and it's nice to know what that is. Bon courage, says Nazanin, for my French test. Yep. Well, I've done the French test. I managed to blah blah and stuff. So I'm fingers crossed that I'll get the result I need. And then in the break between the oral test and the written test, I wandered around. And as I wandered around, I saw a very strange thing. I saw this. This is a medieval, it looks like a medieval house, doesn't it? The funny thing is, it was in between 2 very modern apartment blocks. And I thought, what is that? I thought I knew all the medieval houses in Paris. And suddenly there's this amazing looking thing. It's got so many interesting details. It's got like those arch nice arches and lots of decoration above the windows, the sort of Gothic-like. Sorry if my internet connection is not very good. You've got funny little faces, which I'll show you in a minute. Funny little faces up next to the window there. You've got a really medieval-looking door. You've got these lovely balustrades with the stone. Maybe I can make that bigger. With the stone. Oh, great! Look at that. The stonework there, and you've got these things which I discovered were called on the balustrade here. They're kind of hollow shapes, and apparently they're called hollow. Oh God, what are they called? Foils, quatrefoils, hollow quatrefoils. So it's basically the shape of a four-leafed clover is given by the thing around it, but the shape is a hole. All these little details, it's really good. And the best thing is this little guy here. Can you see this? This little creature sitting up there. Apparently there were a few, but that was the only one I could see. And here's a picture of him up close. Isn't that cool? It's just, and the funny thing is, this isn't a medieval house at all, but that's another story. So he's up there. I thought that was really cool. There's this little face next to one of the windows, which is really funny. You often see these little things. And in fact, it's a neo-Gothic pastiche. It's like a fake. If the Middle Ages is sort of 1400s, 1500s, something like that, well, 1300s maybe. This was built in 1880, so it's not Gothic at all. It's neo-Gothic, and it's really well done, I think. So there you go. Funny little details. And then on my way back to the written test, I passed this little square, and this little square had this statue thing in. And I did a whole big search on the internet to find out who this guy was. Famous French writer, very pious Christian believer, won a Nobel Prize, was elected to the Académie Française, which is very prestigious, and all that sort of stuff. And there were also a couple of scandals around him during the Second World War. At first, he collaborated with the sort of Vichy government. Then he changed his mind pretty quickly and became a resistant. It's amazing. One statue. It's a funny statue as well. He looks a bit sad. I don't know. Anyway, and then finally, before I look at some gargoyles. Yeah, gargoyles. Gargouille, as they say in French. Now, I don't know if you know this, but it's a gargoyle. There's a difference between a gargoyle and a grotesque. A grotesque. It's a gargoyle. Do you know the difference? It's a gargoyle if it's a water spout and it lets water go off the roof and away from the building. If it's just purely decoration, they call them grotesques. It's a grotesque. Notre Dame is famous for these, and I think most of them are grotesques. They're not water spouts. You often see them really sticking out a lot from old medieval churches. All right, so and then the final thing is this. This was a quiz. What is this? Wandering around Paris, and you see this. Okay, it's not a Paris show, it's a photo show. This is me getting really up close. But the thing is, you need to see it from a distance as well. Otherwise, it's not clear what it is at all. So there's two versions. This was absolutely not an artistic shot. It was just a snap so that I could show you all of it. And also you've got a human, so you can see the size. It's a bit less than a human. And this was a milestone, except it wasn't miles. It was another measurement. This is the last milestone. I'll call it a milestone without going into detail in Paris. The last stone milestone in Paris. And the distances from the center of Paris are measured from Notre Dame. In front of Notre Dame, there's a little point, and they measured the distance to anywhere in France from that. So there you go. That is the story of my photos so far in my latest chapter. And let's go back and finish off with some more of your photos. So again, I'm looking for, hello, say hello if you're watching. If you just joined, say hello. If you're watching on the replay, say hello. I will say hello to you as well. And this is so cool. Why did the rooster cross over the bridge? Yeah, in English we say, obviously it's the same thing. We say, why did the chicken cross the road? And there is a rooster or a cockerel. It looks like a very beautiful cockerel. We say cockerel or cock in English. There was a funny, the Prime Minister, the British Prime Minister at the time, Theresa May, I think it was in China, I think, and it was the Chinese year. It was the beginning of the Chinese year of the of this animal that you can see on the bridge, and she said, "We're happy to be here for the beginning of the year of the rooster." And this is a British Prime Minister. We don't say rooster, we say cock or cockerel. But can you can you imagine what the internet would do with the British Prime Minister saying proudly, "We are delighted to be here to celebrate the year of the cock"? That would be quite something. So so there you go. All right, here we go. So he does look like he owns the place, which is one of the reasons why the French have adopted it as their national symbol. You know, cocky. I think they're great. Little bridge. Oh, what a cute little bridge, Gene. I like this one. You could hardly get a cuter bridge than that, could you? So we're looking, by the way, we're looking for a... Oh, Nazanin says I put some photos, the most recent ones. Well, I'll see them if you put #bridge. That's such a cute little bridge. There is a jar of Dorothy's ants again. And it's got one of those lovely red bridges, you know, so picturesque. Nice little fella there with his red head. Looks kind of mean, actually. I'm pretty convinced that it's this was me showing you one of my... Now, this is a picture of a bridge through a bridge. I'm on a bridge, and if you're on a bridge, very often, of course, there's normally a thing stopping you falling off. Often you can use this to be a nice frame for something that you can take a picture of through it. So that's what I did. It's a really rotting old bridge, really good, lovely, grungy, and it had these circles. So I thought, haha, a frame. And I framed another bridge, which is potentially even grungier. This bridge you can see through the circle is the bridge, I think, for the old disused railway that used to go all the way around Paris. It's wonderful. It's so lovely. Old iron rivets, everything. I mustn't forget to give you any more tips of taking pictures of bridges. Shooting up from underneath is always great. Looking down from above, if there's any way you can look down on the bridge, then that's wonderful too. Anything except looking straight ahead. You could get down low. That can be good because you've normally got the sides of the bridge going to the distance. If you get down low to sort of foot level, maybe you could have like one of the road markings close up to you, so it zooms off into the distance. It's surprising how impressive photographs are when they're simply taken from near the ground, looking ahead, but from near the ground. Really much more impressive than from eye level. Oh, these were a couple of those bridges photos that I told you about. The same bridge in different light and also different sapphorification afterwards. And I realized looking through my pictures that I've got about 4 or 5 of the same bridge. I like this one. Love the colors on that. And the reflections. Bridges at night, often the reflections are completely different and sometimes a lot nicer than at day. At day it can be quite boring, quite flat. But if you've got a river at night, which happens to have light on the bridge, which reflects in the river or the sea, not sure if you can do that, that's wonderful. Or a harbour maybe. You can see what's reflecting here. Can you see this? Actually, it's a good example because if you look at this one here, looking for reflections, there aren't any really, are there? There's hardly any reflections at all that look like anything. Even the boats, there's nothing. But look at this one, and this is obviously during the day. And then look at this one. You don't exactly get a reflection of the boat of the bridge because it's not illuminated and it's falling off the edge of the picture. What you do get, you see this big splash of blotches along the bottom. That's the train. That's the train. There are two trains, by the way. They're about to crash into each other. Those are the trains on the bridge. Isn't that incredible? They're far bigger than the actual trains. And then you've got these lovely lights reflecting down here, and I'm not sure why, but there's some lights reflecting down here as well. So that's cool. If you're in a town on a river which has many bridges, often you might want to be on a bridge next to the bridge you want to take a photograph of, because if you've got a pretty bridge, then you need to be on another place to take it. And sometimes to get a really side-on view, maybe there's another bridge. And here's Dorothy. A train passed by on my chosen bridge. Nice to have a train on the bridge. What's the theme next week? Any ideas? Nazanin, I see that you're saying you've added 2 bridges, but I'm going to have to maybe look for those in a second. I love this washed out effect. I don't do that often enough. An old bridge for the train. Went there for a tourist and photo day. Yeah, that's a really impressive viaduct, as we call it. This is from Rob. Homemade bridge. This is homemade bridge. My pop and I built this bridge years ago, going over to the rock. Can you imagine sitting on that chair? It's almost more evocative with no one on it. There's a chair, which makes you think of humans, but there's no human. So it's not a picture of a human. If there were a human, you'd probably be looking at the human. Here, it's an invitation. It's an open invitation to go and chill out. Probably with a drink, and maybe, if I know Rob, maybe a whiskey and a cigar or something. I love that. I really like it. The fact that there is evidence of the human, but the human isn't there. A perfect spot for a morning coffee, says Rob. The flat rock. The way you say that, it sounds like it's like a rock that's been in your family for many years. Waiting for Billy Gruff to cross first. I don't want any of that trolls business. Rob talking about fairy tales where there's a troll underneath the bridge. Can't see him there though. Special bridge in Stockholm from Ingrid. The light falling on the cross on the crown. Ah, yes. A detail of a bridge. And in Stockholm, it looks like you have the tradition of putting locks on bridges like we have in Paris. Yeah, I see what you mean. The cross being lit there a little bit by the light. And in the other photograph, much brighter. I'm not sure if I prefer the silhouetted crown or the one where the crown is, it's almost too golden there, isn't it? I think maybe I prefer this one. Stockholm. Was that when you visited Dorothy? And Dorothy on a crazy bridge. This is Ingrid. This is a very strange bridge indeed. I'm trying to make this bigger. You imagine if the spots turned as you were walking on it. I think you'd immediately fall. Running across stepping stones, which is a kind of bridge, in the Lake District about 3 weeks ago. Oh, luckily I'm going back in a little while. Do you know the Lake District? This is the Lake District, and it was taken by my faithful personal photographer, Beatrice. I did the running though. I did the hard work, and I didn't even fall in. Maybe I should make that bigger for posterity. I don't think there's anything wrong in staging photographs. I think that's cool. Look how clear the water is. You can literally see right through to the stones on the bottom. And here's Dorothy. Video in comments. Oh my goodness. That's strange. It looks much darker. It's like the white isn't white anymore. It's grey. Wonder what happened there. I don't know if there's a... Three comments. So that's it. I think we're at the end of the bridges. Okay, Nazanin, I'll have a look and see if I can find your bridges as well. We've got about 5 minutes left. So I will put suggestions for the theme for next week. Okay, I don't know if this is going to play or not. If you'd be able to see this. Oh, it does turn. Does it actually turn, or is it... You can see this. You might not be able to see this, but it is actually turning. And I think that would... Trying to make this bigger here. Oh, wow. No, okay. All right. All right. So I'm going to go back to... There it is. This seems bridges. Theme bridges. Going to go back to the group. See any more pictures. So thanks for watching today. Thanks for contributing. Lots of comments from Nazanin. Thank you. Smartphone photography. And so I wonder if next week's theme should be something more abstract or something really concrete. Do you have any ideas? Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe something a bit more fanciful, a bit strange. What do you think? Maybe more of a conceptual theme rather than something literal. You know, bridge is very literal. What was it before? Animals are very, you know, real. All right. And what have we got here? Come on. You can do it. Mine are the most recent photos. I hope they're coming. I should have a commercial break here, shouldn't I? Whilst we're waiting for my screen to load. I'll close this. I think we've had enough of that. Okay, are they going to... Oh, I can see them down here on the right, maybe. Is it a canal or it's a river? Here we go. Oh, wow. Thank you for contributing these. These are so cool. Right, where do I start? This one is amazing. So this is original London bridges. Amy Winehouse. This might be Camden. I was in Camden the other day whilst waiting for a train to go north. And I think Amy Winehouse had something to do with Camden. Did she live there or something? So there's, I think this is a canal. It's very colorful, very, very painted. I'm not sure if I would feel 100% comfortable there or not, but that's an impressive place. There's so much detail. All of these lovely angles and things like that, and the graffiti and the colors, it's great. I went to Camden and it was absolutely crazy. There were thousands and thousands of people. I couldn't believe it. Every house has been turned into a kind of crazy place. It was amazing. If you've ever been to Camden, wow. It wasn't like that 30 years ago, the last time I went. Regent's Park. What a nice tree. Actually, it's a bit of a poor tree. Makes me think that it's been chopped some of the ways they chop them in France, but it has an interesting shape. What a lovely, beautiful shaped bridge with a lovely reflection underneath. Okay, Regent's Canal. Yeah, I haven't explored those waterways enough. I remember when I went to the zoo, I think there was one part of the zoo you cross over the canal or something like that. That's really cool. And an old barge there, lovely old barge. I've never done one of those holidays where you take a barge for a sail. That's impressive. The Millennium Bridge. Is this the wobbly bridge? Is it the one they called the Wobbly Bridge? Because at one point it wobbled so much that, it leads, Nazanin is saying it leads to Camden. Oh, the Regent's Canal leads to Camden. Okay, I'll have to check that on a map. And the Millennium Bridge, at first it wobbled, so it got the name the Wobbly Bridge. And in Paris, we have a bridge that didn't have the same problem, but it wobbled a little bit. They worried that it was going to sort of, if the wind hit a certain frequency, it would wobble so much that it would twist and break. This one leads over to St. Paul's Cathedral, I think. And then on the other side, I think it's the Tate Modern or something. That's a good shot. I like it. Impressive. And Albert Bridge. Why don't I know Albert Bridge? Is it in London? It's an impressive bridge. Albert Bridge. Don't know what that one is. No, never seen that before. Someone in the group, I think she didn't put hashtag bridges. I think it was Kristen. Kristen, you need to put hashtag bridge, not bridges, bridge. Otherwise I won't see it. She had a Lego bridge of the Tower of London. That is such an amazing bridge. Maybe I'll try and find Kristen. Kristen, you need to put hashtag bridge. I won't see your pictures. All right, and almost last but not least, a moody picture of historical bridges of France. That is the Pont des Arts, pedestrian bridge, very romantic, and they are currently renovating it because it's got a bit old and people are starting to fall through the floor and be eaten by crocodiles. So that's obviously not a good thing. Not the most romantic way to end your holiday in France. Impressive sky there. Mackerel sky. Don't know what that is. Aqueduct in Montpellier. That's a lovely one. I love the lamppost as well. And Pont d'Avignon at night. I have been to Avignon, and it's quite strange because the bridge, there's a song, Sur le Pont d'Avignon, on y danse, on y danse. You get to Avignon, you go to the bridge, it stops halfway across the river, and you have to pay to get on it. What's that about? And no, that's not it. And let's see if I can maybe get, there's a bird there. Maybe get it's very underexposed. Is that because it was a very bright day, Nazanin? You need to bump up the exposure a bit, unless you wanted a particularly underexposed moody shot. Let's see if you didn't put a hashtag bridge. So cool. Two Tower of London bridges to finish with. Even the ropes or the metal ropes going up are made of Lego. How fun. Thank you for contributing that, Kristen. You can do so many amazing things with Lego. I don't know if you need special kits. I think you need special kits, but still. A superhero. Is it Batman or someone in there hiding? Special appearance. All right, folks, that is it. It's time to go and finish your Sunday afternoons or evenings. And I will give you some options for a theme in the next little while. And thank you for contributing. Wonderful. Great. Let's see what we can get you shooting next week. Word from my sponsor, just to finish with. This is what I'm promoting at the moment. It's started now. It's in pre-launch. It's my Paris masterclass. It starts officially in January and it goes through to December. It's all next year. It's 3 individual masterclasses. You have the once in a lifetime price here if you sign up now, but there is material being produced already. I'm producing these wonderful things called curio files, and maybe I can show you what they look like. And a curio file is a Paris curiosity. And I'm going to give you hundreds of them, hundreds of the things I'm telling There will be live shows. There already are. There'll be another one. If you're interested in that, go to, and of course, lots and lots of photographs. Go to 𝘚𝘢𝗣'𝗴'𝗦𝗠𝗔𝗥𝗧𝗣𝗛𝗢. Just wanted to show you what my curio files look like before I go. I just published a thing about it. And it's all part of the fun. I'm thinking of doing something in people talking about cool. It's strung all over the place. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. If you want to go, you can, but I'm just trying to show you this thing here, but it's not loading for me. Pre-launch activities happening now. There it is. Okay, so this is what my curio files look like, and I'm producing them at a rate of 1 a day at the moment. And if you join the pre-launch, I show you 2 or 3 of them each week exclusively, in addition to what you will get if you join the real masterclass, which is live shows and things like that. So check that out, and that's it. I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Thanks for playing. Look out for the new theme. How about, oh my goodness, how about sadness for a theme? Interesting. Sadness. Why not? I will put it in a list. Put it in a list. Yeah, I mean, you know, it sounds a bit negative, but how powerful would that be? You know, I always prefer sad, miserable songs to songs saying that how happy people are. So, well, not always. All right, I'll see you soon, folks. Thanks for playing. Have nice evenings, and bye for now.